Hi, my name's Ilma and welcome to my channel. I've been posting Christian blogs 12 straight years every day. Today I'd like to share the book of Exodus, beginning the book of Exodus today, as I just finished Genesis yesterday. Today I'd like to read to you and focus on Exodus 1 verses 1 to 14. Here's the word of God. These are the names of the sons of Israel who came to Egypt with Jacob, each with his household: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin, Dan and Naphtali, Gad and Asher. All the descendants of Jacob were 70 persons. Joseph was already in Egypt. Then Joseph died, and all his brothers and all that generation, but the people of Israel were fruitful and increased greatly. They multiplied and grew exceedingly strong, so that the land was filled with them. Now there arose a new king over Egypt who did not know Joseph. And he said to his people, "Behold, the people of Israel are too many and too mighty for us. Come, let us deal shrewdly with them, lest they multiply, and if war breaks out, they join our enemies and fight against us and escape from the land." Therefore they set taskmasters over them to afflict them with heavy burdens. They built for Pharaoh store cities, Pithom and Raamses. But the more they were oppressed, the more they multiplied, and the more they spread abroad. The Egyptians were in dread of the people of Israel. So they ruthlessly made the people of Israel work as slaves, and made their lives bitter with hard service in mortar and brick, and in all kinds of work in the field. In all their work they ruthlessly made them work as slaves. Exodus 1, 1 to 14. And here's the poem I wrote inspired by those verses. Pharaoh's cruelty over the Israelites. After Joseph and his brother's generation, a new ruler got in power. This new Pharaoh didn't know Joseph and what he had done to Egypt. He felt threatened by the multiplication of the Israelites, so he oppressed them. He was so cruel that he made Israelites' lives bitter with forced labor and slavery. Here's my commentary. Exodus is a Greek word which means going out. It points to the narrative of how God led the Israelites to exit out of Egypt. The book of Exodus begins where the book of Genesis ends. It starts with the enumeration of Jacob's household. It is a transition period of probably 430 years according to one of the commentaries. Joseph and his brothers died then, and so their children. This new Pharaoh didn't know history. He didn't know Joseph then, and so he didn't know Joseph, and he didn't know Joseph, and it was the reason why Egypt still existed. He didn't know Joseph, that the reason why Egypt still existed was because of him. He was anxious of the increase in the number of the Israelites, so he decided to inflict cruelty on them. Reflection. Why is verse 8 very important in this first chapter of the book of Exodus? Let me read to you verse 8 again. Verse 8 says, "Now there arose a new king over Egypt who did not know Joseph." So I think it's very important that a ruler, when they step in power, they know the history of that nation that they are ruling over. Because he did not know the history that Joseph was the one who made it possible for Egypt to still exist at the time that he was ruling. And it's good to know history, but sometimes there would be dictators that will arise in leaders, and just like Hitler, when he arose in power, he was very prejudiced with the Israelites, with the Jews. So it's important that this verse is the actual verse that tells us that this is how God is going to bring out his people of Egypt, so that they can go back to the land that he promised them. So this is very important, because it's a transition, that this Pharaoh is the reason how God will bring them out of Egypt. Because if they're comfortable in Egypt, they wouldn't leave Egypt. So it's important, excuse me, that they were enslaved, so that they will reach out and ask God for help. So that's my commentary for this first book of Exodus, first chapter. And I hope that you check my website at ILMA'S.com for artworks, photographs, and a copy of this blog. If you haven't seen over 3,000 videos I've done, those 12 years I've been doing this, just type on Google or YouTube search ILMA'S Poem Devotional. Have a wonderful day.